Brenda, do you want that podium moved?
Sure.
I'm going to want it back.
Oh, actually, I think that the chairman's going to use it, he said, so.
Eventually, you can pull it to the side if you want.
Thank you. All set?
So we're ready to go.
Yep. Resolution intro number 322, reappointment of Carissa M. Napp as County Administrator. This resolution is being offered by Legislator Deborah Root.
Motion by Root. Is there support? Legislator Fanton. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that's carried.
Resolution intro number 422, reappointment of Brenda Rigby Reilly as Clerk of the Board of Legislators. This resolution is being offered by Legislator Janice L. Burdick.
Motion by Legislator Burdick, support by Legislator Rumfeld. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried.
Resolution intro number 522, reappointment of Sarah M. Decker as Journal Clerk. This resolution is being offered by Legislator Adam Sear.
Motion by Sear, support by Mr. Ricky. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried.
Resolution intro number 622, reappointment of Carissa M. Napp as Budget Officer. This resolution is being offered by Legislator Brooke Harris.
Motion by Harris, support by Mr. Curran. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried.
Resolution intro number 722, reappointment of Carissa M. Napp as County Auditor. This resolution is being offered by Legislator Brooke Harris.
Motion by Legislator Harris, support by Legislator Havey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried.
Resolution intro number 822, reappointment of Keith M. Hooker as Director of Information Technology. This resolution is being offered by Legislator Gretchen Hanchett.
Motion by Legislator Hanson, second by Legislator Ricketts Swales. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried.
Resolution intro number 922, reappointment of Anita Madison as Director of Office for the Aging. This resolution is being offered by Legislator Janice L. Burdick.
Motion by Legislator Burdick, support by, Legislator Ricketts Swales, Legislator Hanchett. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried.
Resolution intro number 1022, reappointment of H. Keir Durham as Director of Planning. This resolution is being offered by Legislator Deborah A. Root.
Motion by Root, second by Legislator Havey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried.
Resolution intro number 1122, reappointment of J.R. Santana Carter as Public Defender. This resolution is being offered by Legislator Stephen A. Havey.
Motion by Havey, support by Rumfeld. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried.
Resolution intro number 1222, reappointment of Brian Perkins as Youth Bureau Program Director. This resolution is being offered by Legislator James Rumfeld.
Motion by Legislator Rumfeld, support by Legislator Ricky. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried.
Resolution intro number 322, changing the date of the regular board meetings to the second and fourth Wednesday of each calendar month. This resolution is being offered by the Ways and Means Committee and has committee approval.
It's interesting right now. It could be open to anybody because we don't have that committee. Could we have a motion, please? Mr. Havey, supported by Mr. Curran. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you.
Chairman Stockin will be making the following appointments. To the Accord Board of Directors, Edna Kays and Rita Sobeck Lynch. To the Allegheny County Agricultural and Farmland Protection Board for a 4-year term, Jennifer Ricketts Swales and Scott Torrey. To the Cattaraugus Allegheny Workforce Development Board, Lisa Lee, Jeremy Martin, Frank McAndrew, Richard Zink, Jamie Gleason, and Greg Kloss. To the Comprehensive Plan Implementation Group, Gary Barnes, Edward Eicher, Richard Ewell, Aaron Dale Foster, John Gorton, Charles Jessup, Michael Johnson, John Rickey, and Deborah Root. To the Cornell Cooperative Extension, Jennifer Ricketts Swales and Gary Barnes. To the Emergency Food and Shelter Program, Jeffrey Lucky. Emergency Interim Successor will be Dwight Fanton. Emergency Management and Fire Director, Jeffrey Lucky. EMS Coordinator, Jeffrey Lucky. Intercounty Association, voting members will be Gary Barnes, Brooke Harris, and Brenda Rigby Reilly. Alternate voting members, Philip Curran and James Rumfeld. Law Library Board of Trustees, Philip G. Stockin. Majority Leader, Stephen Havey. Open Space Advisory Committee, H. Keir Durlam. Resource Conservation and Development Board, the county representative member will be Scott Torrey. The county alternate, Philip B. Curran. Legislative member will be Kevin Fred Demick. Member at large, Norman G. Ungerman. On the Solid Waste Hearing Board, Dwight Fanton, John Rickey, and Philip Stockin. Alternates, Kevin Fred Demick and Dwight Mike Healy. Stop DWI coordinator will be Brian Perkins. On the Transportation Task Force, Dwight Fanton and Gary Barnes. The chairman of the board will be making the following appointments, subject to board approval. On the Fish and Wildlife Management Board for a 2-year term, the sportsman representative member, Robert Jones, with the alternate, Joseph Herdman III. Planning Board, Charles Jessup, Amanda Joyce Phelps, Jean Louise Roder. Ex officio members, Justin Henry, Terry Ross, and Brooke Harris. The Veterans Service Agency Director, Michael Hennessy. County Treasurer, Terry Ross, appointed Jenna Kelly as Deputy County Treasurer to serve at her pleasure. We received communication from the Republican Party board members recommending that the chairman designate Stephen A. Havey as majority leader for 2022. And we also received communication from the Republican Party board members recommending that the Alfred Son of Alfred and the Spectator of Hornell be designated their official newspapers for 2022.
Good afternoon. I stand here before you this afternoon as the newly elected chairperson of the Allegheny County Board of Legislators. I am fully aware of my predecessor's very big shoes I am being asked to fill. Regardless, with reasonable expectations and with your support, I am confident the challenge will be met. Even though I've worked with many of you for the last few years, I suspect there are a good number present here and joining us online who are wondering just who this old guy is and and what should we be expecting as we move through the months ahead. My hope in the next few, maybe less than 15 minutes, is to share a bit about myself, my leadership philosophy, and my desire for our collaboration as we address Allegheny County's needs and desires. To make my biographical information a bit more interesting, I want you to consider the various random things I'm going to mention and decide which are true and which are false. The true statements, of course, all contribute to shaping me into the person I am today. I was born at an early age in an Allegheny County hospital north of I-86. My parents were professors at Houghton College. I graduated from Houghton with a degree in business administration. In 1966, I spent 15 hours with Cassie Russell, the #1 pick in the NBA draft that year. After college, I went to Puerto Rico for 4 years to serve in a mission school, teaching, coaching, and as business manager. In 1971, I returned to Houghton and began 40 years of service at Houghton Academy, the last 28 years as head of school. I earned a master's degree in Christian school administration. Excuse me. In 1967, I shared a meal in the evening with Don Nelson, who went on to become the winningest coach in NBA history. I've had the privilege of visiting 17 foreign countries, 4 as a tourist, 13 in relation to responsibilities at Houghton Academy, and 8 of those multiple times. I rode a camel on an overnight adventure in Israel's Negev desert. I was written up in Sports Illustrated magazine. I served 38 years with the Canandaigua Town Board, 31 as supervisor. In 2000, with the towns of Hume and Rushford, we formed the first code enforcement consortium in New York State. It now includes 11 towns and 3 villages. For 21 years, I was a member of the New York State Education Commissioner's Advisory Council for Non-Public Schools. I played basketball in 3 cities in Russia. I have served on a number of church and community boards. I have driven a bus in 13 states and Canada. I have a collection of over 200 neckties, and today I'm wearing a chainmail tie made for me by a former student. In my new role as chair, I may find it comforting to wear this one more often, as I don't own a Kevlar tie. My wife Donna and I have been married 53 years to each other, and we have 3 daughters and 13 grandchildren. So what does all that tell you? Only that I've been around the block a few times, around a number of different blocks, all of which combined have yielded many experiences and perspectives which should aid me in serving as chairperson of the legislature. I am, however, under no illusions as to the task ahead. The question I have been asked most often in recent weeks is, why do you want to be the legislator's chair? The answer is the same it has been for most every service position I've been privileged to hold. It's always been a 3-step process. I was asked by others to serve, I discussed it with family and close friends, and I prayed about it. When these 3 meshed into the conviction to move forward, I allowed elections or appointments to take their course. So it has been with this position. I was asked to serve and ultimately elected. I am honored to be your chairperson, and I look forward to serving. But if circumstances took this away from me, even today, I would be just fine. They tell me I now have power, authority. So what is my understanding of positions of authority? Very simple. Positions of authority are for service, not power. I repeat, positions of authority are for service, not power. In recent weeks, I have been asked innumerable times, what are you going to do about this or that? What are you going to do when you have the power? I find these questions a bit amusing, as I just don't think that way. The question for me is not, what am I going to do? The question is, what are we going to do? I realize the chair has to lead the body, guide the process, but this is not at all about my agenda. It's what are we, legislators, A-team, department heads, employees, what are we going to do to move Allegheny County forward? Here are my expectations for how we will best work together. First, listen to and respect each other. There's an African proverb that translates roughly, young folks run fast, but old folks know the road. Now, this primarily refers to age, but I would suggest in the context of county government, consider this to refer to experience. We lost a huge amount of experience, of institutional knowledge, with the retirement of 5 legislators. But we still have some veterans, particularly among our A-team and department heads. In terms of county government, I do not consider myself a veteran, one of the old folks. I am still on the learning curve, and nothing in New York State is as easy to accomplish as it might be. So voice your ideas, share your dreams, but listen carefully and respect the old folks among us who've been down the road. Secondly, attack issues and not people. I don't think much more needs to be said about this expectation. We will not always agree, but we can always be civil in our dialogue. Next, trust and believe. I would encourage us to believe what others say until there is clear evidence to the contrary. There's a great story in the good book, Joshua chapter 22. Israel was taking the land that had been promised to them. Some stayed on the east side of the Jordan River, while most of them settled on the west side. The east siders helped the west siders conquer the land and then returned to the east side. By the river, they built a stone structure. Some member of the west siders, for whatever reason, started a rumor among the west siders that the east siders had created their own altar for worship, and that was not perceived to be a positive initiative. The west siders, emotions high, reacting to a rumor, were going to go en masse and straighten out those east siders, go to war if necessary. Then someone suggested they just send a few guys to check it out, find out what was really going on. They went, asked the east siders, what's the deal? They were told the structure was not an altar for worship, but a memorial so they wouldn't forget the victory and that they were all one nation. Come check us out anytime, they said. The guys accepted the response, went back to the west siders and gave their report. And here's the part of the story I really like. The rest of the west siders, who had been stirred up, said, okay, cool. We accept and believe the report. No mention of some grumbling about how you can't really trust those east siders, etc. Conflict was averted. Believe and trust until there's clear evidence not to. And finally, confidentiality. This is a must. The board has been very good in this regard during the term just completed, and that needs to continue and be raised to an even higher level. The suggestions I have just recounted, listen and respect, attack issues, not people, trust and believe, maintain confidentiality. These are really common sense things for optimal success in any group. I have great confidence in the 2022 legislature. We have opportunities before us, and I have no doubt we will see some significant strides forward while dealing at the same time with inevitable challenges. COVID will continue to be a challenge, as will New York State mandates. I am confident we will see further development at the crossroads and in a number of our vacant commercial properties. We will continue to work on reducing the county tax rate. The ARPA funds will provide resources for a number of long-desired projects to be completed, and we will continue and enhance the many and varied services offered to county residents of all ages. Yes, there's a lot going for Allegheny County right now. Those who went before us have brought the county to a truly strong position. To be part of this legislature at this point in time is indeed a privilege. In closing, just a word about committee appointments. The list will be distributed at the close of our session, but I will tell you that everyone has a chair or vice chair position. Everyone is on 4 committees. Every district is represented on every committee, and 13 of you are serving on committee of first choice. We are in this together. One last request. You will notice that Legislator Harris has a number of new positions. Please help me in keeping an eye on him. If his ambitions grow, he could well have increasing interest in my demise. Oh, I almost forgot. Those true-false statements with which I began, every one of them is true. I'm honored and humbled to serve as your chairperson. May God grant us the wisdom that comes from above and guide us as together we serve the good folks of Allegheny County. Thank you. If there's nothing else to come before us now, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Mr. Havey, seconded by Mr. Ricky. All those in favor? Aye. And that passes, and we are adjourned.
We do want to get a group picture with all legislators.